Madeira. Dramatic coastlines, beautiful villages, scenic ocean drives. This is Madeira. In this video we show the places we stayed on the island and the best spots to visit. The Portuguese island of Madeira is about 950 kilometers from Lisbon and is located in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. There are direct flights from many European airports. The airport of Funchal is one of the most challenging for pilots, mostly due to the approach and heavy winds. If you sit on the right side, you might see the dramatic São Lourenço peninsula already when approaching the airport. We started our road trip in the small town of Porto da Cruz, which is beautifully located on the northeastern coast. Our personal highlight of this town is the promenade right at the beach with some tasty restaurants, all offering a wide variety of seafood. We stayed at O Club, a small house for self-catering with a large balcony, a private parking spot, a fully equipped kitchen, a cozy bedroom and a private bathroom. If you go during winter, make sure you stay at the place offering a heater, as it can get quite cold during the night. From Porto da Cruz, it's about 20 minutes by car to São Lourenço Peninsula, where you can enjoy great views and do some hikes. Besides the Miradouro da Luna, which is accessible directly by car, all the other spots require a bit of hiking. We would definitely recommend to do the hike to the Miradouro Ponta da Forado, which is about 3 kilometers one way. On the way you will pass several beautiful spots and lookouts. To see some of the typical houses you may stop at the Casa Típicas de Santana, which is more or less an open-air museum with souvenir shops inside the houses. But be aware it can get quite crowded and don't expect too much of this location. Nearby is the Miradouro da Roca do Navio, where you have an incredible view over the northern coast of Madeira. If you want to walk on the beach, you can take the funicular down to the sea. The highest peak with an elevation of 1862 meters above sea level and probably the best overlook over the entire island is Pico Ruivo. The car park can be reached from Porto da Cruz in about 30 minutes, and from there it takes about 1 hour to hike to the top of Pico Ruivo. You definitely won't regret doing this, especially if you go for sunset. The views there are just incredible. From the Cabo Arieiro viewpoint you can hike down the coast to Ponta de São Jorge. Note that the last part of the trail to the bridge was closed in 2022 due to falling rocks. But the views along the way and of the bridge are still worth doing the hike. After some nights in Porto da Cruz, we changed location to Porto Moniz. Porto Moniz is a small town on the northwestern tip of the island. It can get crowded during the day when many people from all over the island arrive, but in the evening it's a very calm and quiet place. There are some restaurants right at the coast and also some great places to stay. We stayed at the Aqua Nature Bay Hotel, which was probably our best hotel stay all over Madeira. It offers an incredible view of the coast and ocean from the room's balcony and an infinity pool on the roof. The breakfast buffet is very diversified and they offer a tasty blue sparkling wine. Porto Moniz is famous for the natural swimming pools called Piscinas. Although the water temperature in March was quite cold, we could not miss getting in. Halfway between Porto da Cruz and Porto Moniz you can find the Miradouro de São Cristovão, from which you have an incredible view of the coast. There is a car park directly at the spot and also a restaurant. Make sure to stop at least for a coffee to enjoy this amazing view. Nearby in São Vicente there is the Capellina de Nossa Senhora de Fatima. The small church is located on a hill from where you have a great view of the surroundings. There are many spots to visit around the town of Seixal, which is about 15 minutes from Porto Moniz. One of them is the old coastal road, which goes directly at the coastline and is preserved at some parts between São Vicente and Porto Moniz. It is very impressive to drive on, but be aware of falling rocks. Another beautiful spot is the Miradouro do Novo, which offers a great view of the coastline and the waterfall that flows directly into the sea. Seixal is beautifully located and offers a black sandy beach, which is quite rare in Madeira. If you're in Porto Moniz overnight, we really recommend having dinner at the Aqua Nature Bay Hotel. They offer a 4-course meal for a set price, and it was by far the best dinner we had on this trip. After watching them from the balcony over the past days, we finally made it to Ribeira da Janela. The rock needles are about 10 minutes from Porto Moniz, look incredible and should not be missed. The parking lot is just around the corner. Fanal Pond is one of the most famous sites all over Madeira. It's called the fog forest because most mornings the whole place is covered in a mystical fog. It's located about 25 minutes from Porto Moniz and has a large car park. You can just walk around the enchanting forest or even do longer hikes, especially if you want to see some levadas. The Miradouro, Ponta da Ladeira and Ponta da Tristão are two spots about 15 minutes from Porto Moniz for watching the sunset. On both of them you can see the steep coast and the play of colors the sun has to offer. The name Madeira means wood in Portuguese, which is due to the many forests all over the island. If you drive around you can't miss them. Really like the very old and huge eucalyptus trees and the beautiful roads going through the woods. And don't miss to jump out of the car to smell that intense scent. On the westernmost point of the island sits the lighthouse Ponta da Cruz. There's a car park right next to the lighthouse, and if you walk around a bit you have spectacular views of the coast too. In the neighborhood you can find the waterfall Garganta Funda. The huge waterfall near the coast can be viewed from a platform after a short walk from the parking spot. Be sure to check out the cliffs, which look beautiful there. A main attraction on the island are the Levadas, which are created to transport water from the mountainous part of the island to the drier agricultural areas in the south. The total length of the Levada system is more than 2000 kilometers, and there are hikes along some of them. The most popular one is Levada das 25 Fontes, with the Lagoa das 25 Fontes, a small pond where a waterfall drops. But be aware that this hike is quite crowded, so it's a good idea to start early. Another waterfall on the way is the Risco waterfall, which should not be missed either. After Porto Moniz we changed location to Calheta, where we did a bit of chilling for 2 days. Since we had a special occasion to celebrate, we went for the Savoy Saccharum Spa Resort, which has 2 pool areas, one with an infinity pool and a spa area. The viewpoint Miradouro da Bica da Cana is best for sunrise, since you can watch the sun rise over Pico Arieiro and Pico Ruivo from there. It's a short drive from Calheta, but you can reach it easily from Porto Moniz too. From the small car park at the streets you need to walk about 10 minutes to reach it. The Años waterfall is a very famous spot, so being alone there is quite a challenge. A waterfall drops down directly on the coastal road, which you can use for a car wash or for some great photos. For our next overnight stop we chose Ribeira Brava instead of Funchal. This location is ideal since it's located very centrally on the island. You can reach both the north coast and Funchal in about 20 minutes. We stayed at Dusk Golden Estate, which is located on the hillside with a great view of the ocean. There's a swimming pool with hot tub and a small spa too. The Cabo Girao skywalk is about 600 meters above the coast and drops vertically, which is quite impressive. You have a fantastic view over the ocean and towards Funchal. The beach Praia Formosa is located between Ribeira Brava and Funchal. It is a great place to see the sunset and have dinner since there are various restaurants directly on the beach. The Curral das Freiras valley is located about 25 kilometers from Ribeira Brava. It is famous for its mountains and has various viewpoints. A great one is Miradouro do. Camacha sits above Funchal and is a great base to explore Funchal or go to Pico de Arieiro. We stayed there the last night before heading home at Valparaíso in traditional cottages located inside a very beautiful garden. About half of the population lives in the capital of Funchal. We guess you could spend there several days and enjoy the city life around the many restaurants and bars. Two main attractions should not be missed. The Teleferico, which is a cable car going from the harbor to the monte and offers great views of the city. On top, the second famous attraction, the Carreiros do Monte, is located. There are wooden baskets called toboggan that you can use to ride down the hill. Whether it's worth the money or not depends, but it definitely looked fun. One of the best spots in the mountains of Madeira and the easiest one to get to is Pico do Arieiro. From there the famous peak-to-peak hike to Pico Ruivo starts. But if you don't want to walk that far, there are several good spots to enjoy the mountain scenery. Between Funchal and Canico there is a Cristo statue which was built in the 1920s called Cristo Rei. It's a smaller version of the one in Rio de Janeiro. We went there as a last stop before heading to the airport. If you like to watch planes landing and taking off, the airport in Funchal is the place to be. There is an outdoor terrace from which you can get good views of the arriving and departing planes. We hope you enjoyed our video and got some inspiration for your own trip. Thanks for watching.